the most epic stories of courage, faith, and survival ever told. A man who faced down kings, decoded cryptic dreams, and stared death in the face without flinching. This is the incredible story of Daniel. Our story begins in a time of great turmoil. The mighty Babylonian Empire, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, has just conquered Jerusalem. Among the captives taken back to Babylon are a group of young, intelligent men from noble families, and one of them is Daniel, along with his 3 friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, whom you might know better by their Babylonian names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel is chosen for a special training program. The king's plan: to assimilate these bright young minds into Babylonian culture, to serve in his royal court. They were to be given the best food, the best education, the very best of everything Babylon had to offer. But right from the start, Daniel made a stand. The king's food and wine were rich, but they were also part of pagan rituals and went against the dietary laws of his faith. So, Daniel politely requested a different diet, just vegetables and water. The chief official was terrified. "The king will have my head if you look worse than the other young men," worried. But Daniel proposed a simple test. "Just try it for 10 days, he said. "Then compare us to the others." The official agreed. And what happened after 10 days? Daniel and his friends looked healthier and better nourished than all the young men who ate the royal food. This small act of faithfulness was the first sign of Daniel's unwavering integrity, a quality that would define his entire life. Soon after, King Nebuchadnezzar had a terrifying dream that left him deeply disturbed. He summoned all his wise men, magicians, and astrologers. His demand was impossible. "Tell me what I dreamed, and then tell me what it means. If you can't, you'll all be executed." Panic swept through the court. No one could tell the king his own dream. But when Daniel heard about the decree, he didn't panic. He went to his friends, and they prayed. That night, the mystery of the king's dream was revealed to Daniel in a vision. The next day, Daniel stood before the most powerful man in the world. He calmly sighed. "No wise man on earth can do what you ask, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries." He then described the king's dream perfectly. A giant, dazzling statue with a head of gold, a chest and arms of silver, a belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of mixed iron and clay. Then, a rock, cut out by no human hand, smashed the statue to pieces and grew into a mountain that filled the whole earth. Daniel then gave the interpretation. The different metals represented a succession of powerful kingdoms, starting with Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, the head of gold. But each successive kingdom would be weaker, culminating in a divided kingdom, brittle as iron mixed with clay. Finally, the rock represented a divine kingdom, established by God himself, that would crush all the others and last forever. Nebuchadnezzar was so astounded that he fell on his face and honored Daniel, promoting him to a high position and making him ruler over the entire province of Babylon. But Daniel's story of courage was far from over. Years later, Nebuchadnezzar, in a display of his ego, built a massive golden statue and commanded everyone in the empire to bow down and worship it whenever they heard the sound of royal music. The penalty for refusal? To be thrown into a blazing hot furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, holding firm to their faith, just as Daniel had refused to bow. Furious, the king had them brought before him. He gave them one last chance. Their responses echoed through history. "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us. But even if he does not, we want you to know, Your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Enraged, the king ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. It was so hot that the flames killed the soldiers who threw the 3 men in. The king leaped to his feet in amazement. "Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?" he asked. "Look, I see 4 men walking around, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." He called them out, and they emerged without a single hair singed, their robes untouched by the flames. Once again, a pagan king was forced to acknowledge the power of their god. Time passed. Nebuchadnezzar was gone, and new kings and empires rose and fell, just as Daniel's interpretation had predicted. Now, under King Darius the Mede, an elderly Daniel was still serving in the government, so respected for his wisdom and integrity that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. This made the other administrators jealous. They spied on him, trying to find some fault, but they couldn't. Daniel was flawless in his work, so they hatched a wicked plan. They knew Daniel's one unbreakable commitment was to his God. They tricked King Darius into signing an irreversible decree. For the next 30 days, anyone who prayed to any god or human other than the king would be thrown into a den of lions. The king, flattered, signed it into law. What did Daniel do? Did he pray in secret? No. He went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem, and 3 times a day, just as he had always done, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God. His enemies were watching. They rushed to the king, who was devastated when he realized he had been tricked into condemning his most trusted advisor. He spent the entire night fasting and worrying, unable to save Daniel from the law he himself had signed. At dawn, he rushed to the lion's den and called out in anguish, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you?" And from the darkness of the pit, a voice replied, "May the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight." The king was overjoyed. Daniel was brought out, completely unharmed. The lions hadn't even scratched him. The story of Daniel is more than just a series of miraculous events. It's a powerful testament to living a life of integrity. Even when you're in a foreign land, even when your beliefs are unpopular, and even when your life is on the line, Daniel and his friends showed that true strength isn't about conforming to the world around you, but about staying true to what you believe, no matter the cost. Their courage wasn't about being fearless. It was about acting in faith, despite their fear. It's a timeless lesson that inspires us to stand firm, to trust in something greater than ourselves, and to have hope, even in the darkest of dens. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement. And do want to forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you won't miss our next video. Until next time, stay curious and stay courageous.